So the area you're in now is one of the places some of the girls was brought, because in the night it's blacked out, and as you can see there's all these side roads, and it's very much unpoliced area. So this is the red light district, this road.
This is the red light
district? Yeah. So it comes up this road and it goes across onto the next road, so that's the route we're going to take, because this is where it begins for a lot of kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you live on that side of the town, which is, there's mass estates and that, you've got Belfield, Newbold. I mean, there are other ways, but the main walk to town would be for a teenager who wants to get there as quick as possible. It's not to go down the long route, but to cut through the shortcuts. And the shortcuts in Rochdale to get to town from here is this road and Broadfield Park, which are the two biggest places that have been mentioned in the report.
So they cut through these estates here, and these are where the men would come to pick up some of these girls.
The area you're living in is the Asian area of Rochdale. It's called Deeplish, right? So 99% of the people who live in this area are Asian. So this is the home playing field, if you like. They know the roads, they know where the police go, they know where to park. I've seen it, I've sat up on the bridge, I've sat up on the bridge here watching what goes on this place, and we've done it for many years. At the end of the road here there's a young person's hostel. Now it's for kids who are too old to go in care but are too young to get a property. Perfect for these guys, perfect target for these guys was them girls. It's called Stamford House, it's at the bottom here. But first let's start at this end, because I want to show you the dynamics really, because that's what we're doing, isn't it? The dynamics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now with the care homes, from what I understand, a lot of these men would pick up these girls directly from outside the care home.
Absolutely, and I know this because I was in one of the care homes and it was happening. I was watching it happen, so I know it happens.
Yeah.
I was in a care home called Foxhalls, which we'll visit shortly. I was in a care home called Foxhalls and I was only 12.
Yeah.
I wasn't in there because of bad parents or anything like that. I was in there because I was wild. I was in there because my mum couldn't control it. I was going out, I wasn't coming back, stuff like that. So they kind of put me in there for my own safety. And in there is when you see the older girls that was in the children's home. When we get there, I'm going to show you the setup. And maybe it's a good thing to talk about when we're there rather than now.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Right.
The other thing is, what they do on here is they'll pick a lady up and they'll pull up on here, because that's access all night long, and nobody checks it. Nobody's, there's no police going on checking it. It's safe for them to go and park on there and do what they want. So what they was doing is just coming down here, looking for brass. If there's no brass, next thing they'll do is a young girl, you know what I mean, who just happens to be walking through. So yeah, this is one of the main areas of where they were picked up, or maybe where they were dropped off, or maybe where some of them were trafficked to work.
So you mentioned that it's a red light district then.
This is.
So this would be considered sex tourism, where the men would go and there'd be brothels and they take these girls to these flats and rape them and
Absolutely,
stuff like that.
and I mean, it's not just this road, it's the full estate over there, because they had access to a lot of buildings over that way. Cambridge House is also on that area as well, which is something else we're going to cover later on.
I've heard about that in the court reports. There's quite a few of the houses. I found out about one in Falinge, Oldham. And bloody hell, you see some of these estates and you can just feel the evil energy coming from it. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, a little side story there, there's Dale Street Canal in Manchester City Centre.
Yeah.
Look, the town's lawless, mate. They can do that round here because there's no police. There's no police. It's unpoliced, this area. Look, there's kids on bikes here. What chance would they have had if they'd have pulled out on that guy then? He couldn't have stopped.
I've noticed as well, there's a mosque just over there, yeah?
There's one on every corner in Rochdale, mate.
Every corner?
Yeah. Used to be churches on every corner, but now it's mosques. Yeah. But I'm not religious, me, so I don't really keep up on all the religion side of things. So yeah, this area as well, and if we go, so it's not just one road, it's a big area that the ladies work in the night. The reason why I know about this is because we had a missing young girl, and this is where we found her. She was 14. 14. She was here not just to hang about, she was here working. But we tried to approach her, we tried to safeguard her, and we could, she just disappeared then, and we've not seen her since. But that was the main reason why I started in this area.
Do you get many calls from parents whose child has just run away?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day in Rochdale, yeah. It's a massive problem. It's a massive problem. Every single day there's a missing person. Not always a child, but there's always a missing person in Rochdale that we have to get out. I mean, Andy was out this morning looking for an old gentleman in the area who'd gone missing this morning and actually helped find him. So, you know, it's a struggling town. The mental health services are at rock bottom. The survivor support is non-existent. I've had one of the 3 girls in my shop today. Not had any support from anyone since the court case. Other than myself, that is.
You know, when we were discussing, talking to some of these survivors, we were thinking, we've watched some of these interviews, and they always ask questions about what they went through, but I haven't seen many people ask about how they're dealing now, how they're handling it, what they're going through.
So we have an issue in Rochdale with the survivors, and they just cross over here. Yeah. One of the people that I've spoke to today, she's still having problems gaining support. We're talking from 2012. She's still fighting for support. Let's bear in mind, many of the groomers that were convicted, many of them wasn't. Many wasn't convicted, so she's living in an area where they're all around her. She doesn't leave the house. She won't get out of the car when she does leave the house, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's not support for me, that's just leaving her to her own devices, so we're going to start fighting on that as well.
So I understand that a lot of these gangs, they get these girls hooked on heroin, crack, cocaine, all sorts of drugs. Do these girls relapse a lot when they come out of the abuse?
So one of the things I did when I was doing researches with the hub is I was getting a lot of not young women, but addicted women in the hub. They was coming in, they was asking for a brew, clothes, so on. And so I started building and started speaking to them, and 90% of them that are on the streets are there because of childhood trauma. So the effect it has is that is one of the main effects is lifelong addiction, because it's better to take drugs than to remember.
Where are we heading up to now?
So this is still the red light area. This is how big and prominent it is. But if you have a look about, when it's night time, you have a look about, do you think the police are going to come and look in these places? Absolutely not. Because we know this police force of today, police service of today only turns up when you ring them and tell them there's something going on. They're not out there deterring crime. Yeah. There is no crime prevention anymore. So if a kid's walking down there, she gets talking to an adult who tells her she's beautiful and I've got all this money and I'll do this for you and I'll do that for you. And she's gullible enough to get in the car with him, he's not far to go. These, maybe locked at night, but if they pull into that gateway, no one's seeing them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no lights. Look, nearest light's there. So if I pull into there at 9, 10 o'clock at night and it's pitch black, no one's seeing me parked there. And I can do what I want in that car. So this is the area, one of the areas. I know there's a lot of mention in the reports about flats and about takeaways but most of this was done in the back seat of a car. So Abdul Rauf was a taxi driver for a company in Rochdale. I don't think it's open anymore, I think it's changed its name, but he was a taxi driver, and when he was first released, I caught him outside a local school picking his kids up. So I put him on video. And I said to him, now this is when I was fresh and I didn't really know what I was doing. I just pulled my phone out and went live. What I should have done is gone and record, because then I'd have had the file. Yeah. But because I went live and it got removed off Facebook, I lost the footage. Do you know what I'm saying? And the one I posted on YouTube got kicked off for bullying. But Abdul Rauf turned up to school to pick children up. At the very school some of the survivors went to. So I caught him. So I went to the school and I went to the police and I went, this man is still on licence for abusing children in Rochdale. Why is he allowed to park outside? Even if he's picking his own kids up, there's other people's kids there, and there's families of survivors that go to this school. Why should they have to see him outside the school? They said, is he in his car? I said, yeah. He went, as long as he's in his car, he's okay. This man with the taxi driver, the car was his weapon of choice. Yeah. His car was what he got away with doing this stuff in his car. So why is he in his safe? Because he's in his car. He was in his car last time and they weren't safe then. But again, whitewashed, who were allowed to do it, he continues to do it.
We know with like Northview School, pedophiles were literally camping outside and the head teacher knew about it.
Oh, absolutely. Roderick Hilton camped in the field. Yeah. Roderick Hilton camped in the field. Convicted already somewhere else of paedophilia. It was known to the police, it was known to the council, but he was friends with the caretaker. And at night, the caretaker wouldn't leave the back door open for him so he could go in. So he had access to inside the school. He didn't need to camp in the field, he could go into all the boys' little beds at night. And that's what he did, and he did it for years. They got rid of him and he come back and they didn't remove him the second time. Yeah. So that's me. The people who knew he was a paedophile continue to allow him to be anywhere near that site, including the police, the politicians. It went to the school governor, that. It just happened to be Cyril Smith was the school governor.
It was another paedophile?
It was the paedophile. The ringleader of paedophilia in the UK.
So ladies of the night, would that just include adults, or would you get children working the street
We have in the past. There's been a couple that we've thought, she's a bit young, but there's no way of knowing. They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
They don't want, you can't confront them or anything like that. But you certainly can watch who's picking her up after a shift, and that's what we're there for. We can't really approach it, and we don't really want to, because if we did, they'd tell whoever's picking them up, and we might have a bit of aggro, which is something we can't be dealing with.
I know sometimes with these girls, they've got men watching them across the streets, bodyguards, that kind of stuff, yeah.
This isn't a load of perverts setting up a ground. This is a business. Yeah, this is for money, what's going on in Rochdale. Cyril Smith was a paedophile ring, because they were earning. They was all about getting access to kids for their own sexual gratification. That's what Cyril and his crew were about. This next lot, yeah, they had a sexual gratification to fulfill, but they seen it financially beneficial.
So when they say that this issue is historic, it's not?
No, it can't be. Operation Lytton, there's a trial starts in Rochdale, in Mitchell Street, Crown Court, or they might move it now for Rochdale. There's 58 on bail in Rochdale today.
58.
Through Operation Lytton. There's already trials about to come. Have you ever heard of Operation Double?
Yeah, I believe you said
it's very historic, but there's people being in court for Operation Double in a couple of weeks as well. So no, it's not dead and buried. It wasn't historical, this is an ongoing issue. Not just here in Rochdale, but in every town across the country. People are going to need to be arrested for what's gone on in this country when it comes to the abuse of children. So we can't have any political party doing it. We can't have the police doing it, because they're implicated themselves. So who do we get? Who do we deputise? Do you know what I mean? For me, I'd put Maggie Oliver, and I'd put me, and I'd put his friend on there, Sammy. I'd put their dude be on the panel for me. Absolutely, 100%, because I know they're getting to the bottom of what happened, because they already know. But it's never going to happen.
I did want to ask you actually while we're here, like when I came to Rochdale last time, I was with Jess Gill, and it was a Saturday day, and all the shops were closed. Why is it that you walk?
There's no difference today.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So any money that's been available to refurb the town centre, they've spent it on taking away the things that was involved in the abuse scandal, like the old bus station, like the old council office, like Smith Street toilets. They're the places that are being redeveloped. This is not even in consideration. I mean, we've got a million of these.
Do you think if they put money into the economy here and started building up the area again, that the crime would drop?
One of the biggest problems in Rochdale is the lack of higher level support for addiction. I'd say at least 50% of Rochdale's addicted in one way, form or another. We have a massive addiction problem. You'll see that coming through town centre. We have a humongous addiction problem, but there's zero support. So the only way these people can function is by shoplifting, because the money they get from the state pays for drugs and so on. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not anyone's fault but their own, I know that, but the reason why they're there is untreated trauma. So maybe more money could be spent on that and try and getting into them and making them functional instead of non-functional. And you know, there can be so much thing as a functioning addict if he gets the right support. They can live. My brother was an addict for 35 years. He lived in his house, he brought up his own daughter, and he functioned every day without thinking about anything else, without having to go out stealing for drugs, without, you know. So it can be done. It's just he was lucky to get the support. 99% of these in Rochdale don't get any support. So it's fend for yourself. And it's going to get a lot worse. Even normal people are going to have to start shoplifting now. Do you know what I mean? Because of the universal credit lark.
This is what they said with Rotherham as well. There was when they left school, there was no jobs available, and so people just went into selling heroin and drugs to make their living. That's just what you did. It wasn't frowned upon. That's just what you did in the area.
That's a cycle in Rochdale as well, because there's that many addicts. You know, there's money there to be made. This used to be where I used to come and train from cadets at 12-year-old, 13-year-old. I used to come here 3-4 nights a week. I was well into it. There's nothing more in this world that I wanted to do is serve my country as a soldier. That was all I ever wanted from being knee-high to the ages of a teenager. And I came here, which is the local cadet unit. It was the 82nd Battalion of the Fusiliers. We came in here, we'd do the staff in here, we'd do parade, we'd do, you know, you'd learn all the things like map reading, this was their base, so we'd all get in, we'd all line up to speak to us like shit, but that's what they're supposed to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was when, because I was well into it, I wanted to do a bit more, I'd come early and I'd leave late. And there was a reason for that, it's because I was being abused by one of the staff at the time. He's no longer here anymore, so I don't get any accountability. But this was run by the Ministry of Justice, and they've said, oh, sorry, we have no paperwork to even say you was ever here. So there'll be no further action from the police, and I got that in 2 weeks.
Was this, do you mind if I ask it, was this sexual or physical
This
abuse?
was a sexual and physical and peer-on-peer abuse as well. So it wasn't just the staff, the older soldiers, those that had ranks, they was doing it as well. They was really abusive. Yeah, of course they were. I mean, when we go away to camps, you know, like it's called annual camps, so cadets all around the country would go to this one place. It could be Catterick, because that's where this is where one of my major incidents happened, was at Catterick. So we'd get there and there'd be 50 battalions of different companies, and you'd all get put into like 8 dormitories. So, you know,
Right, yeah.
if you was one of the young ones, you was tortured. And I mean tortures, I mean, it might come down as tomfoolery now. That's the name they used back then, but me, having a 12-year-old stood like that for 6 hours is torture. There's a certain thing you do, it's hard to speak about it. There's a certain thing you do when you're in your bed. I'm sorry, love, I've got to say it. When you're in your bed, I don't know what they call it, they wrap you up in your blanket so you can't move, you're stiff. And that's when they start doing that bad shit to you. And that's happened, I've watched that happen at least 30 times to other people. It's happened twice to myself. I reported that and the police officer told me that's just tomfoolery. That is child abuse. It doesn't matter who's doing it, it's child abuse.
Can I ask what kind of, what year this was occurring?
Oh, no, you just hit me in the head there. So I'm 46, 23 years ago, 33.
So early 2000s, yeah?
Maybe 90s.
90s. So this abuse isn't just down to like the Pakistani Grooming gangs. This is abuse
Absolutely.
all over society.
Yeah.
This is abuse all over society, where they're neglecting to safeguard children in all aspects.
So let's go back to the beginning, right? PI, the paedophile information exchange. When the Labour Party was in under was it Wilson? They infiltrated the Labour Party, and they said in, I think it was Harry Arman round about 80, 88, 89 said it's been disbanded. I'm telling you now that thing never got disbanded. They're still well and truly affiliated with infiltrated within the Labour Party today. You know, because look at how many convictions the Labour councillors have had, Labour MPs have had for abuse against children. So it was a culture that was fed at a political level. Right. This place ruined my life because all I wanted to be was a soldier. When I left this place, I was a criminal because all I wanted to do was knock fuck out of everybody, and that's what that did to me. That gave me that defence mechanism. Because of what happened to me there. I left there and I thought, it's not happening to me again. Do you know what I mean? It did, and it was my own fault, but, well, no, I say it's not my own fault, it was the adult's fault, but I put myself in a position. So, my dad had dropped me off here. Now, you can see it's blocked off, he dropped me off on the corner, my dad would go straight down and I'd come in. Well, I never, in the end, I just carried on. Yeah. And I ended up where I'm taking you next.
Well, this is it. I mean, you mentioned there, you kind of went into a criminality aspect, and what I've noticed is that a lot of girls, when they get abused, they stay out past curfew, they come home late, they come home drinking, smelling of alcohol, of tobacco, they misbehave, they get in trouble with the police. And because of that, the CPS deems them not so credible witnesses when they want to...
Well, in fact, there was incredible witnesses. Not, you know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. There was incredible witnesses. So this is the Riverside, the council offices. This is the new bus station.
So this is the area that they did up. This is where we came last time.
This is, see, from the brown building, this and this is all new, all brand new.
Yeah? Can I just point out the difference, right? So this is a really impoverished area where you've got child prostitution, normal prostitution, and the rape gangs, and then over here is the nice new area that they've just built up.
So yeah, that's the bus station. They've called it the Riverside because they built it next to a river. Very fucking...
It's where they all call the new areas now, isn't it, Riverside?
Yeah. This big new audience cinema thing here. Yeah. And the new bus station. But before that, look where you see that brown building used to be the Black Box. Right. And it were about 30, 40 floors up. It's a massive building. Black glass windows, a bit like that, but with it's all black glass. So you can't see in, but you know you can see out, yeah? You know them type of windows? Yeah. So the story here goes, That wasn't there, that wasn't there. The bus station was on the bottom level here.
Okay.
Smith Street toilets are here. So Smith Street toilets are mentioned in the No Rue report. So when it came on top at No View for Cyril by members of staff grassing him up, and like Martin Deegan was reporting him, instead of arresting Cyril, what they did is they warned him. There's people talking about what you're doing here. So he then moved on to the next part of his abuse, which is what I'm going to talk you through now. So you see this building on the bottom corner here?
This one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
These used to be public toilets. So when it came on top for Cyril and his friends at No View and the reports were coming out, he still went to No View because that's where he selected the boys. But what he'd do, instead of abusing them on site at the school, and out of fear of getting caught, he'd say, meet me at Smith Street toilets.
Okay. Oh, yeah, right.
So
okay.
then it begins.
Yeah.
They're all meeting, so he'd bring 3 lads from No View come down to the toilets. These lads are abusing the beds from being young age, so this was normal for them by then. Yeah, this wasn't doing something strange, this was just normal. It's like every kid when we go out and play on a swing.
And so they're being convinced that this is a normal part of growing up?
Yeah, it's part of being alive as a naughty boy. You know what I mean? You're able to, you see it all the time, you'd call it now coercive behaviour, don't they?
Yeah.
So here we are this is Smith Street toilets. This is the devil's front door. That's what we call this in Rochdale. This is the devil's door.
This one here?
This one here. Behind this door is the most disgusting acts you've ever seen in your life or ever want to see in your life, right? This place was Smith Street toilets, it was the male toilets. The black box stood here. In the report, on the 8th floor, was the social services, who was watching the boys go through and watch the cycles who were going through. To the point, I have someone on my phone who I'll show you, so you believe me, because you won't believe the shit unless I prove it. He was taking bets on which kid was next to go in the toilets. Right? Diane Kavanagh appeared before the ICTA inquiry, and she confessed to knowing that they watched these boys win the toilets. Why she not been charged? Why she not been held to account? She was the director of Children's Services. It was her duty to come down here, shut these toilets down, and arrest anyone who'd been in them in the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
So how long were they aware of the abuse at Novel?
These toilets were active for about 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
So they knew of the abuse for about 4 years?
Yeah.
And didn't do anything?
Not a thing, not a thing, and it's in the report. Not a thing. They knew about No View for years, but didn't do a thing.
I don't want to say these are the nicer parts of Rochdale, but they're more done up. Would you say that the men come down here to pick up the young girls as well?
No, because we're always here.
You're always here?
No, time's a no-go, because PAG UK has been for the last 6 years. 7, no longer, you know what I mean?
So did you kind of push them out of the area?
Yeah, we did patrols all over Rochdale.
Did you face any attacks from the
Yeah, we
members?
caught one called Shahid Razat. My phone's nearly dead now, so I don't know if you'll get your phone out. That's him. It was me who caught him, me and my team.
So you do stings as well?
Yeah, I dragged him to the police station. I rang the police, said we can't come out. I said he'll be there in a minute, and dragged him to the police station, 4 of us. So I'm going to show you that area as well, so that we'll cover that when we're there. But that's, he got 2 years. So
he approached, so this is what he did, right? Shahid Razik approached a group of teenage girls in Broadfield Park and asked them for sex. And he was sentenced to 2 years and 3 months in prison for asking a group of teenage girls for sex.
Oh, no.
2 years in prison.
He was also done for sexual assault. So when I caught him, I went live. So it was live stream, but we recorded. We 100% knew there was a problem with Broadfield Park. We'd been patrolling it and the town centre for about a year when this happened. The lady you've just seen who beeped at us up there, she was with us.
She was with you?
She was with us, yeah. I should have pulled up and said, tell them about Shahid. So we'd been on patrol all night. It was around about 11:30. In fact, we was parked at the time, because you could park on the town hall. We was parked upon the town hall at the time. So we're walking about, we've just finished, come down here, walked across the front of the town hall. I said, should we do one quick lap of Broadfield Park? And we were rumming and ironing, because we'd done it twice in that night already. So we were like, shall we? And I heard a scream.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I looked at, and you'll see it on the camera, because we're all talking like this, and you'll see us all go, what was that? Next minute, I see a little blonde girl first, then another girl, and then another girl. And I thought, what's going on? So I walked towards them, pretty fast pace. I went, you all right, little girls, you all right? He went, there's my friend's up in there, who's got her up in the park. So I went, who's got her? So I ran up the steps. And obviously on the video, you see the torches all bouncing and that. There were 3 of us actually, 4, one of them was the girl who stayed at the bottom with the girls. Yeah. So me, Dean and Sped, run up the steps, and I saw a guy in a white coat, and I saw a young girl, and he's just like that. I went, hey, what night, mate, I'm just watching my phone. I went, watching your phone, what? I'm just walking around the park watching YouTubes, what, at 11:30 at night? I went, listen, mate, I got the girls away from him, got my member of staff to bring the girls round here. The police came down to the girls, and I took him to the police station, which is facing here. And obviously, he worked for coming to the police station. I said to him, you've done that wrong, you've got nothing to worry about. I kind of blagged him, talked him into coming to the policeman. Let's get this sorted so you're not getting yourself a bad name, lad. Do you know what I mean?
Also, you got to talk to them.
Yeah, but the police station was shut. So we were stood outside the front for 40 minutes or something waiting for a copper to come out. Finally, one came in from outside and I explained to him, listen, there's 3 girls there, yeah, I've just seen them. I went, he's tried having them. He went, are you sure? I went, 100%, mate. So they spoke to him and they arrested him at the front door and he pleaded guilty in court. So I put the video out, got home, took the video down because he'd been arrested. It was obviously evidence then, it shouldn't be online, it should be in the court.
The 2 years is not enough time. Like I found...
Well, I'm not finished yet, pal, let me finish. I put some live video on, next minute someone's at my door. Bang, 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 bang at 1 o'clock in the morning. Opens the door, it's some angry guy. All right, Billy, sorry for knocking on your door, tried messaging you. I was at the police station all night, so I couldn't answer my phone. Just tried messaging you. That fucker who you shown tonight, he has sexually assaulted my daughter at 6 o'clock outside Touchstones, which is the building facing the park. She was 3 months pregnant. So we got convicted for sexually assaulting her and she was under 15 as well.
Under 15?
She's got done for sexual assault on him as well.
So you say that she was also pregnant, this 15?
She was, yeah, I believe she was pregnant at the time, yeah.
Right. So that's the shop there, yeah? That one there with the green scaffolding?
So that's Touchstones, the local library.
Okay.
This is the police station. That used to be the courts.
And what park's this?
This is Rochdale Town Hall.
So this is Rochdale Town Hall?
Yeah, when you look at this Masonic building to your left. Well, it is the best looking building in the northwest of England.
Good, mate, it is quite nice, the attire and the aesthetics.
So, when that happened with Shahid Razak, I was, see this corner here? It shows us talking to a couple of lads on this step who were drinking crates of beer. And they had a blonde girl and we was looking for a young blonde girl who were missing, that's why we was out. And I looked and I went, is that her? So I said to my member staff, you talk to her and we'll surround him and we'll talk to him and you find out if it's her or not. Anyway, we went to talk to the 2 lads who actually did nothing wrong and it was all together, it was okay, it was all kosher. They walked off over here on the video, I've got the video to show you, and I'm stood here on this corner here and I heard her. I didn't see her because it was dark, but I heard her. I heard one scream and then I turned like this and I seen them coming down the steps. So obviously, she said my mate's still in the park, so we've run up into the park and we got like round the corner and just up on the ledge, there's a bit, I'll take you up, I'll show you. So, what a lot of Rochdale don't know and a lot of people around the country don't know is that there's been 4 male rapes in this park over the last 7 years.
4 male rapes?
4 male rapes in this park over the last 7 years. So it is a really, really bad spot. I tell all my family or anyone who's related to me, you do not cut through here, day or night. So we're now entering what's called Broadfield Park. Broadfield Park has a bit of an history at night time of being in a local area that's out of bounds for lads like me and you. Right. I never accept that, I walk through it at my heart's content. But I wouldn't advise any females to walk through here after dark, on their own. In groups even, they're not safe, and as we know, so this is where I caught him. This is where I caught Shahid Razak on this bit.
So is this where he was talking to the young girls?
He was trying to grab her.
He was trying to grab her?
No, it may be Andy! Keep going guys, you're alright. Where did we catch him? Razak. It's this bit here, I think. I'm sure it was here, I pushed him up against the fence. No, because I couldn't see the bottom, it weren't there. It was over here, on this bit. So we caught him here, and I convinced him to freely walk, didn't drag him. Come on, let's go to the police station. Let's sort it out. They're saying you've done this, you've done that. He was found to have a wad of cash in his pocket, like over 600-700 quid. So what was he planning? It weren't just paying a kid for sex. He was planning on something else. I don't know what, because he got caught and we put a stop to it. But yeah, that's what patrol did. We prevented that by doing walks about. So I mean, Broadfield Park's historically bad. If you want to go and have a look at it.
Yeah, let's go. Should we go have a look at that quickly then? All right.
We tried at first tying and stickers saying, please be aware in this park it's not safe at night. We knew about the rates. It's not safe. And the park warden come round and took them all down. So I thought, all right, you clever cunt. So I got my mate to climb the tree and nailed one to the tree. And he come down and he took it down with a ladder. So, but other stickers were allowed to stay up.
So why would the park warden want to take down those stickers?
It's because there's a park warden who works for Rochdale Council, and it makes the park look bad, and his job then is to make the park look good. Looks like a normal town during the day, but then at night time, because everyone's at work, they're out there and at school. Yeah. Can't groom a kid when they're at school. It's like Sunrise. Sunrise work 8 well 5. Sunrise, the child sexual exploitation team. Yeah. You can only get in touch with them between the hours of 8 and 5. The only hours grooming is not taking place, in my eyes. The Rochdale Sunrise are on 8 well 5. So this is Broadfield Park, it's massive.
I believe there was an assurance review into them as well, wasn't there? Operation Sunrise, or the Sunrise team. The
Sunrise team is a Rochdale born. Yeah. There was mentioned in the Operation Spam review. Yeah, the whole of Greater Manchester operated under, we'll go up this one. Yeah. The whole of Greater Manchester operated under the Phoenix model. But because Rochdale had specific issues, they was run by the Sunrise. So the rest of Greater Manchester is run by Phoenix, and just little Rochdale is run by Sunrise, CSE units, that's the name of them. When the scandal broke and it was going, all of a sudden, the whole of Greater Manchester was Sunrise. Phoenix had been bounced. So they'd say, oh yeah, we had an old model, it didn't work, so we've got a new one here. Well, it's not, they just renamed it after a model that had already failed here in Rochdale. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Sunrise have done some great work, but they made some grave mistakes, and it's cost people like Charlene Downs a life. She was groomed, ignored, and in the end, murdered. Same as Victoria Gogol, you know, they was murdered.
She died of a heroin overdose in 2003.
Correct, they've only just been done recently.
He's only just been done?
Yeah, it's not been done, well, may I say recently, to me recently it's a couple of years. Do you know what I mean? Right at the back at the time we was campaigning for her, nothing got done. And then you have Charlene Downs. Then you have the 2 girls from Telford. Yeah. This isn't just about abusing children, this is about killing children. Children are dying with this shit because they're fear of them speaking out. So, you know, what better way to bump someone off with a bag of smack? A drug which you've got her into because you want to groom her. Yeah. He should have been jailed for murder, he's got done for substance shit, you know. He should have gone to jail for murder. It was murder. So you've got schools on the one side where Muslims hang around outside handing out kids. It's not just Muslims, mate. The white lads do it too.
I understand that. What about? So how would it work around here? What happens around here?
It's again, there's if you come in here at night with all your mates, we used to do it. We used to hang about in Tandalills Park. There'd be about 30 of us. We'd all go in and we'd get up to what knows what. But the problem with it here is, the older ones around the edges in the cars, and that's where they pick them off. Right. Yeah, the roads round it. Yeah. So when they're about all in here getting drunk, and right, I'm going now, right, and they all start getting off into their own place. So this place is, I'd say this is the centre of Rochdale. Okay. I'd say this is, are you from Rochdale, pal? No, for me, this is the centre of Rochdale because everything else is on the outside of it. So more or less the centre of Rochdale. So now if I lived on that side of Rochdale and I want to come to town, my quickest way is through here. 100% I'm cutting through here to get to town. If I walk, right, from that road there and I want to get to town and I use the roadway, I've got to go all the way down, all the way across, all the way around and all the way around and all the way around to get to there. So it's quite easy to know to come straight through. That's the problem, because they know that and they're waiting here in the alleyways. That's probably more dangerous down there because they're waiting for them to come through there. You've seen how many girls just walk through there then? Yeah. If they do that at 7 o'clock at night, there's lads knocking about, sat on benches having joints or doing whatever. And I'll tell you a new one that I found out about. Oh, look, someone's left a phone. I've got a new phone. Ring, 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 ring. Yeah, mate, that's my phone. I'll give you 200 quid if you come and meet me now. Boom. That's how they make the first contact. Yeah. That's how it's happening. I've seen it happen. I've heard about it happening. You know, come and meet me. And it's like I said, we're all like, oh, sexual abuse. No, it's not just that, guys. I'm telling you now, the young lads of Rochdale are at risk too. You've seen through there's been a recent documentary called the ROC. Yeah, another Rochdale grooming gang, but these weren't grooming them from sex. They was grooming them to sell drugs. They was grooming them to run shots or whatever they call it. They was grooming them to smash people's windows and be a little gangster, you know. That's what happened in Rochdale. So everybody's at risk, boys and girls, not just from paedophiles, but from those that'll use them to solicit drugs along those lines. But that leads to, all right, my girlfriend's coming with me today. Who's your girlfriend? Bang, there's another kid in there. Do you know what I mean? And that's the way it's happening. That's the MO. That's the way it's happening. So
basically, no one's safe.
No one's safe. No, you know, boys or girls, they're both at risk from this current plight. Right across the country as well. If you look at the convictions of boys under the ages of 15 now in the UK for selling drugs, they're getting them drugs from an adult somewhere. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Have a look into the numbers, mate. You'll see what I'm talking about. Rochdale's had its fair share of that as well, you see. So I see that as the same as a grooming gang. In my eyes, that's the same. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, when I was younger, there were adults who was what was it? They'd use their daughter, right? And the daughter would start a relationship with this boy, and then they'd use that relationship that they had to get the boy to start selling drugs for him, right? There's stories like that happen all the time, and again, as you rightly pointed out, that's another example of grooming. Of
course. Now, you know, we all today, but more so than back then, understand the behaviour of controlling behaviour. So you'll get one of them who'll say, bring a couple of mates tomorrow. So you get a young girl there who's thinking, yeah, you know what, I'll do that because it gives me a bit of cover. It might help me out. So she'll take a couple of friends. What she doesn't realise when she's doing it at the time is she's just fed another 2 of her friends to the grooming gang. And that happened in so many cases across the UK as well. I mean, some of them, they tried to criminalise some of them for it. And some of the girls? Yeah, even one of the Rochdale girls was arrested and charged for grooming because they thought she was complicit in taking younger girls to she was being groomed herself. She was under the control of a grooming gang. It's called the Stockholm syndrome. The Stockholm syndrome means you fall in love with your kidnapper or your stalker or whatever, and it does happen, you know, especially to an impressionable teenager who's not got a really good network render anyway to start with. And a lot of people talk about class. It's nothing to do with class, it's to do with finding those girls. Now, if you look at today's numbers of kids with ADHD and that are on the spectrum, you'll see 85 million times more than what was back then. Right. They're the target. The kids that are on the spectrum because they don't function at home, they don't function outside, and they're a perfect target.
So there's the kids that are on the spectrum, and then you also have the kids in care homes.
Of course, yeah. So
anyone who's vulnerable is they
to them,
pick up on.
It's a perfect target. Yeah, perfect target.
How do they pick up on someone who is, say, more vulnerable? How would they pick up on those?
Because she's out there, you'll know, because it's one of the things on the spectrum is your boundary issues. So if a young 12-year-old girl's going to come and speak to me over here, I've never met her before. Yeah. That's what that is. Right. That's her on the spectrum. You should never, you know, we tell our kids, don't speak to strangers. I'll be in town and a group of girls will walk and say, hey Billy, now I'm a bit of a popular in town, so, you know, but even me, I'm like, you shouldn't really be speaking to me girls, you don't know me. Do you know what I mean? I could be anybody. Do you know what I'm saying? I could be anybody, you shouldn't really, and I try and teach them that, but yeah, you'll see it. We built this as Cyril, but he died. Ooh, see what I mean? Right. We built this as Cyril, but he died. We was going to put Cyril in that and leave him there. Whoa.
Stay on the glass, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to. What I'm about to show you is a rumour, but one I've heard. A rumour, you hear it once, you take no notice. You hear it twice, you start to listen. You hear it for 20 years, you know there's some truth in it. When it accompanies everything else, you know. It's called the Red Window, Cyril's old room. And for some reason, even though we said how triggering it is to the council for survivors, they absolutely point blank refused to do anything with it. Now, the whole town hall's just had a massive millions and millions of pounds spent as a firm. The only thing they haven't touched is the window. So I'll show you now. Cyril was a clever man, he had it boxed off. He surrounded himself with people he knew were like-minded. Yeah? With like-minded people. So they all saw Cyril abusing no view, he abused in no view, he abused in Smith Street, he went to people's homes and abused, he abused in Cambridge House, and then there's the Westminster stuff. So this guy was the biggest paedophile in the UK ever. Yeah? Why do you think they never went for him? Because he sat in rooms with Ted Heath at the same time doing it. Heath, the Prime Minister, another nonce. Wilson, another Prime Minister, another nonce.
Did he used to pimp out the boys out
yes,
the
yes,
school,
he used to traffic them to his Westminster friends, yeah, that's known. That's a known fact. But like I said, when the Ixo inquiry come, all their focus was on Cyril. There wasn't just Cyril, there was other people abusing kids at No View, including Roderick Hilton, which you know about.
I find it interesting as well, what was it, he died in 2010 before the allegations came out about his abuse.
See that window?
Which window? That one?
No, on the town hall clock up to the left.
Yeah.
See it? Yeah. That was Cyril Smith's little shimmy. See it?
What, the red one?
Did he not stand out?
It does. So what
so that was that. Apparently that was the room he used to like to take people in to show people and talk to people and have meetings with people. Young boys. No View lads told me he's been present in that room during his abuse. So the full thing just had a multi-million-pound refurb. The only thing they didn't touch was that window. Like it's sacred or something, you know what I mean? They didn't even paint it.
I just want to point out that window kind of matches what's up there as well, the colour scheme, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. And the glass roof above it, but that again, that's been cleaned up.
But that hasn't?
That hasn't been touched. That window is symbolic to some of the Masons, maybe. Maybe it's a Freemason thing, maybe it's a satanic thing. Look at all the gargoyles. Look at all the satanic instruments all around it. Go and have a look at it. Go and have a right good look at the windows and the pictures. And the current mayor of Rochdale's just got out of an investigation of touching people up. He's the new incoming mayor, but he got accused of touching a woman up, and the Labour Party did an investigation and found that he'd done nothing wrong.
We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing.
Well, that's the way it works around here.
This is the window up there.
Yeah, that's the window.
Well, they didn't change it at all.
No, they haven't touched it. Not even painted it. It's not had a paint in years. But why that colour? It's had a full clear out, top to bottom.
And you can't access. You can't. So I can see people in the windows.
Now, if you want to have a look round. This is the courtyard. Yeah. Back in the days before, when the town hall was the court, this was the cells. So this was all fenced off. And what they do is they bring the prisoners in whatever, in the fucking carts or whatever they were on back in the day. Yeah.